This is session 38 of our solo RPG, and we're going to just go ahead and jump in with the recap. We'll get right into it. So we got quite a bit to do today if we want to stay on schedule for doing our dungeon. So let's just talk about what happened last time. So in session 37, we finally got around to we were infiltrating that base. It's our main thing. We found out that the foreign actions to arrive soon, but as far as we know, they're not here yet. We'll know when we run into them, which we haven't done quite yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to in the near future. Let's see. We the first room we kind of came into is we came into this Oasis complex, this Ruined Oasis, arcane research facility. We came across sort of a crumbling gymnasium. As we were sort of exploring it, the dry rot floor collapsed under Ott, and she kind of fell down into what we discovered an underground passage. This sort of underground network of passages that probably runs through this entire area to, I guess, make it easier for people to not have to go outside during the heat of the desert day or during the cold of the night. So it's a little bit easier way to get through, or maybe they're hidden passages. We don't really know because this place is pretty old and ruined, and we don't know too much about it other than its existence and sort of what it did. So we went through the underground passage network. We found an underground spoils fountain. It looked to be sort of like a guard camp, a guard station. There were two gnolls and quite a few hyena, and we got into a fight there. It was pretty brutal. For their side, we actually came out relatively unscathed. I think Impar's the only one who took an arrow to the shoulder, but everybody else sort of got through it unscathed, primarily thanks to Impar's help. One of those gnolls got away, though, and ran off, but we have not seen any negative repercussions from that yet. We found a drawn-up contract for the guarding, but we couldn't read much of it, so it must be written in that sort of foreign... We know there are a bunch of foreign nationals that we think are sort of backing this confederation of goblins and gnolls and orcs. And so we think that's the case, so it's written in a different language that we don't really know. Leah could read a little bit of it based off of sort of her background as sort of like an ancient scholar, but that's sort of word association. She can't really read it. She can just sort of like pick out what she thinks some of the words say. So that's why they think it's a guard contract, but they're not really sure. This led the scene at the sound of approaching footsteps. Further into the passages, we found a partially collapsed alchemical workshop, which was a huge pain in the butt for us. Anybody who watched the last session knew I made things way too difficult on myself. We had that flickering reverse gravity effect in the chasm, and Ott was able to get across it finally after many, many attempts to sort of jerry-rig a way for us to sort of cross that giant chasm with the reverse gravity flipping back and forth the entire time. So we were able to get that. Adele dropped his dagger. We remember that. We found the scroll of fireball, and I forgot to roll for the rest of the treasure during the stream, so I did it last weekend afterwards. So I found a Carjuntan banknote, a potash and tin ingot, or potash and tin ingot, worth about 17 gold. And we found a Moontouch longsword. We actually ended up rolling a magic item, which I wish I had done on stream. It's not super useful for anybody. The only person who can really use it is Imbar. But we found that by crossing that reverse gravity magical chasm. We jumped over there, and we found out that it's a dead end. We can't get back across from over there. There's no place else to go, so we're going to have to come back across. So that's sort of where we are. Normally, resting in dungeons is a really, really bad idea, but they kind of have their own corner. They're protected by this giant chasm and the reverse gravity field. It doesn't look like anybody from any of the gnolls, goblins, or orcs come down here. Anybody from the Confederation comes down here anyways, because we didn't have to fight anybody when we were down here. So it might be a good place to rest if we need to rest, but I don't think we do. We've been pretty economical with our resources. I think we're pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Leia's got all her hit points. She hasn't used any leveled spells yet. She has used quite a bit of the Wand and Magic Missile, but she just has the Scroll of Fireball now, which I added. So I think I'm going to give it Ott. Yeah, also a few hit points down from her falls. But she's doing pretty good, but I might replace it for the spear. That Moon Touch longsword. At least for right now, because she doesn't have a shield or anything, so might as well. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. So go ahead and make that addition. So she's gonna. So that gives us, because her spear was already using strength. So we'll say let's just say longsword. Doesn't really matter. They're both gonna be the same because she would be using the spear two-handed. So it's D8 either way. So, yeah, so she'll pick up that, since Imbar's probably going to stick with the two-handed weapon because she's going to do so much extra damage with it. But otherwise, everybody over here looks pretty good. She hasn't really used anything. We're pretty topped up, I think, on arrows. I don't think anybody's down on arrows. No. Imbar has used her second wind. That's something to keep note. She has used her second wind. And she's down to about 5 hit points. But we still have all our hit dice and everything. So we might take a short rest instead. That might be better for us. And Delg's doing fine. Yeah, I think we're going to take a short rest rather than make him use the healer kit. Yeah, I think that's going to work out better because that's a finite resources, so we don't want to use too many of the healer kits because it's really our only way to heal. So we're in fact going to take a short rest, and I will roll for it, just to see. You know, we got to do that first roll. Is something that's gonna come along? Yep, just right out the gate. All right, we're not gonna get that rest. Sorry. All right. What did we say was? What did we say? I think this is technically supposed to be a goblin area, but let me double check. Yeah, we have the goblin theme, so this should be goblins that are coming our way. Let's do that. Let's get us some goblins. Actually, you know what? I can put the filter on humanoids. That'll give us something good. Let's drop that on humanoids. We have 4 level characters. And, we're definitely gonna want a hard. And let's see what we get. No, well, we don't want werebears. Okay, that's fine with me. Let's go with this one instead. So this is actually going to be, so it's going to be orcs instead, or who's going to find us. Alright, and up to, let's say 1d4 plus 1 orc. So there's 1d4. Come on, low numbers. Nope, nope. Alright, it's gonna be a hard one. Now the nice thing is that I think this is actually going to work out very, very well for us. Because the only way they can attack us is coming across that chasm. And orcs and orogs, not particularly well known for their ranged attacking, but pretty much everybody on our side of the field has the ability to do ranged attack. All right, so we're just gonna get right into it, I guess. So let's as we're doing here, we'll set the scene a little bit. So they're sort of bedding down for a rest. They're trying to get things together. They're going through the magic items and divvying those things out. And as they do, let's give ourselves a perception check. We'll use Leah. She has advantage. It's not very good. It's 12. Is she going to beat the DC, or are they going to get surprised? Oh, that's actually a DC 11. So she just barely makes it. So they're kind of doing this, and then it's probably Odd, I think, has the best perception out of all of them as they're sort of going through this loot and digging through the like rubble of what's in this broken workshop, arcane workshop. And then I think her like ears kind of flip and turn. She kind of picks up her head and she kind of shushes the other. And we're gonna hear some people. I guess they're gonna be coming down the passage our way. let's see. Do they? So I think if we know that if we have the, we're gonna try to hide, and we'll make a stealth check, and then we'll see if they perceive us. That seems best. So no advantage. It's just gonna be a kind of flat check, just to see how everybody in the group does. We're gonna use Leah. All right, it's not a great check. That is a 4 plus her. Yeah, plus her 2, so an 11. So we're probably not going to do well. We in fact do not do well. Alright, so there's no real hiding. They definitely spot us as they're coming down. And we'll blame this one on Delg. Delg is not an adventurer by trade. Delg kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in the rubble as they come down, and then people are going to draw weapons, and we're just kind of going to go straight into initiative. It's well, let's give their reaction table. So we are in a weird sort of back corner, but there are some foreign factions and other people who are moving around this place. So, do we want to try to talk to them first? Leah can try to talk to them, and pretend to be one of the foreigners. Maybe, but she doesn't speak Orc. Sure, so she'll try it and... Well, no, I already said we were hiding. We were already going to ambush them. I got ahead of myself. So no, of course they're not going to talk to us. They see that we are clearly... clearly going to be hostile, or at least guarded. And anybody from the foreign faction shouldn't be doing that. So, let's just go ahead and... I guess roll initiative, because that's what we're going to go into it. No talking this time. We're not going to talk our way out of this one. We're literally backed into a corner. Alright. Leah. Pretty good. Hot. Pretty good. Imbar. Okay. Okay. So... what are the orcs and the aurochs got for theirs? Okay, so we got 2 in the fast round, then 2 in the slow round. No problem. But that's what we're looking at, and 0 bugs. We've dealt with the bugs. We've been the Orchid Man exterminator here already. So we see these guys coming down the front. Leah's gonna. We're trying to hide. They immediately spot us. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And they start pulling out weapons. I think they all have javelins, so that puts them at probably a pretty distinct disadvantage here. So everybody's kind of got cover. I'm going to give everybody sort of a +2 to their AC, so everybody's got kind of like half cover from all the rubble and stuff. There's plenty of stuff around to find cover in on both sides, so everybody should be able to find cover. Ott's gonna... I think she could probably tell... Oh, this guy's wearing plate armor, so obviously this guy is large and in charge. So we're going to take a couple shots at that guy. Obviously no advantage with her longbow. But I like them odds. Yeah, oh wow. So these guys raise the alarm. The Orog turns around, points to those guys, everybody starts pulling out javelins, and then Leah pops up from behind, pulls back her bow, the drawstring to her cheek, bam, another, bam, first critical hit, boom, right there, right above the plate. Right in the neck, and then another one probably into the shoulder. And she's gonna do quite a bit of damage. Gosh. Well, she would if I could roll above a 1. Wow. That's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing for you, Ott. Sorry. Sorry, girl. That's 15 points of damage. Wow, 15 points of damage on 2 hits and 1 being a crit. That's embarrassing. Alright, wasn't as severe as we thought it was. It would have killed one of the orcs, though. That's something to keep in mind. So that's 25, 26, 27. 27. So, 2 hammering hits still. Leah's gonna pop up, and she sees those guys over there. I didn't check for Ott, so I'm gonna say in this first round that the reverse gravity is not an effect, so gravity is normal across the chasm. Now, we already said the chasm's like 60 feet across, so we have a lot of there's a lot of range, which I think puts all the bad guy, all the orcs at disadvantage with their javelins. I don't think they're within the javelin range. They're all in the long range for the javelin, but our crew has a lot of... many of us have longbows and or spells that reach 120 feet easy, so we're in a much better position for this fight. So she's going to turn around and take a shot at the Orog, who's standing up there, I guess, with a... She'll do a firebolt. Another crit? I mean, I'm not going to say no. Apparently we were more prepared for this fight than we thought. Okay, yeah, 17 damage is much better. Wow. So, boom, shoulder, right in the neck, and as it's sort of bent over, she's going to hit it in the face with this firebolt. Just, fire just racing across its face, burning the flesh. And hair lights on fire. Orog not doing well. Is Leah going to do anything else? I don't think so. I think everybody's just going to take cover. Well, Orog just got rocked pretty hard. I think he's going to shoot... Gonna throw a javelin, I guess, technically at Leah. Let's double check. 'Cause I don't know off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure we're in the long range for javelin, though. Yeah, we certainly are. Okay, so they can attack us, but they're at disadvantage, and I don't know if this says how many they have. This stat block doesn't, at least. I don't think this one is either. They'll probably have enough to get through the fight. I mean, just going off of what basic equipment somebody like a fighter does, I think you get like 5 or 6 javelins, something like that. So you have quite a few. That's more than enough for these rounds. But this multi-tech is specifically for great axes. They can't jump that passage. They can't do anything. So he's going to move to cover, but he will throw a javelin at Leah, but he does have disadvantage because he's in the far range. But that's 11 plus 6, 17. I'm pretty sure that hits her. Yeah, it sure does. Okay, so 1d6 plus 4. Alright. So she's going to take a hit. Alright, ow. She took 8 points of damage. Not great. She gets hit with a javelin, sort of peeking out, and, you know, this giant shaft. The spear just slams into her. And she kind of ducks back behind the rock again, holding onto it like... Probably lets out a little yelp. I mean, that thing hurts. It's like getting punched with a knife. Alright, well, that's the Orog. So he ran into cover. We've got some orcs. The orcs are going to spread out their attacks. I think they'll just do one on each person. They also have disadvantage. Alright, so they're going to miss Leah against Ott. Going to miss Ott. Oh, but they're going to hit Imbar pretty well. D6 plus... What do they add? Like a 2 or something, right? 2 or 3? Yeah, 3. Ooh, 9 points. Ow. So they're... At least when they hit, they're potent. They're potent hits, for sure. Alright. Somehow we're going to end up... we're going to get punished for trying to take a short rest by needing to take a short rest, because we're definitely going to take some damage in this fight, it looks like. Alright, and we still have one that's against Delg. Delg's real easy to hit, though. Thank goodness they have disadvantage, so it's not a crit, even though we're crit heavy on the rolls today so far. It's our 3rd natural 20 so far. But that's definitely going to hit. So 1d6 plus 3. Minimum damage. Alright, so Delg will take his lumps. Go down to 27. Alright, but he's doing alright. He's otherwise going to be okay. Alright, that is time for the slow round, so that's Imbar. Imbar's going to pop up and take some shots. I think she's going to go against the... I guess she'll go against the... I don't know, the Orog's pretty hard to hit now. Now that he's gotten into cover, he has a 20 AC. And they could probably visualize the difficulty of hitting one of them. Whereas hitting one of these orcs is much easier. She only needs to hit a 15. So she's going to go after an orc with her longbow. So she'll hit the orc. Nice. Longbow for maximum damage. Nice. Down to 10. Alright. So one of these guys gets smoked pretty easily. Not dead, but not feeling great. It takes a longbow probably in the gut somewhere. Like, that's pretty much going to be a done deal. Delg will sling at that injured orc. He does have disadvantage, though. He is definitely in the outside range for sling. But that's a 16. No, sorry, sorry. He doesn't have advantage, he has disadvantage. No, and Delg continues his long history of leaning into his character not being a very good slinger, and not because he's not a combat-oriented NPC at all. Alright, that's the bottom of the round, so we're going to go back up to the top. That's Ott. Who is Ott going to go after? Now that Orog's in there, and let's check on... Let's ask our Oracle, is our reverse gravity effect? No. Okay, so everything's normal from as far as that's concerned, which is good. That'll give our people with the longbows better attacks. So Ott is going to, I guess go first against the injured orc. Dang. Should have won against the Orog. But our fourth natural 20 already. Okay. Roll, girl. Roll better than 2 1s, please. Thank you. I mean, it's still not great damage, but it's certainly enough to kill that first orc. And she gets that one right in the eye socket. And that one goes down. She has a second attack. The likelihood of her rolling another natural 20, I would say, would be very low. But given we've rolled 4 so far, I mean, why not go after the Orog? Maybe we'll get lucky. I think we're going to get lucky. I think she has more than a +4, pretty sure. She does, in fact, have a +5. Great. So she's going to... Let's, big money, no whammies. 7, 8, 9... Wait. 8, 9, 10. Ah! We got him. So, she splits open the back of that guy's skull pretty handily while he's trying to hunker down. All right, well, that could have gone way worse. We actually had a random encounter that's going very well in our favor just because of the terrain, which is very nice. That's a nice change of pace. So, that leads us to Leah. I guess Leah's gonna stay in hiding and firebolt one of these guys. Yeah, she's gonna hit. 2d10. Or sorry, it's 1d10. What am I doing 2d10? 4 points of damage against one of these orcs. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I just got done playing another character yesterday who's 7th level, who has firebolt that I use all the time. So, just automatically want to roll 2 dice for the damage. Nope, different character. She is still lower level. Alright, so that one gets wreathed up in some flame, is kind of rolling around trying to pat themselves out. It is their turn. Again, we got 1 on each. I think they're still at disadvantage, so against Leah, that's going to be a miss. Against Ott, natural 1, always going to be a miss. Gonna miss Imbar. Imbar's AC is like 19 or something before she's in hiding. And for Delg, yeah, okay, so everybody gets missed. Good. I'll probably start giving them morale checks on the next round, because they're not doing a ton of damage, and they are just getting peppered over here, even though they're in cover. But we gotta wait for it to be their turn first. Imbar's gonna pop up, she's gonna take a shot at that injured one. I don't think that's gonna be enough to hit. I think that's a 14. Let's double check. I think she has a +6. She does indeed. Dang, that's 14. 1 off. So she misses. And Delg will sling, but he is at disadvantage. Unfortunately, that's 14 too. He's so remarkably unremarkable because he's basically a commoner stat block. That even with his +2, that's only a 14. Dang. Almost, though. Alright, this brings us back to the top. So, is reverse gravity staying, or gravity staying steady? No. Okay, so reverse gravity is, in fact, that's going to give us disadvantage. It's going to give everybody disadvantage who's trying to use some sort of, like, arced weapon. So it's probably not going to... that's not going to affect Leah's spells, but it is going to affect everybody who's using missile weapons and or thrown weapons. Because it's hard to compensate for gravity going up instead of down. Alright, that's Ott. She'll pop up. She'll take 2 shots. First one against the one that's injured. But she does have disadvantage. Dang. She'll miss with her second shot against the same guy. Even worse. Leah does not have disadvantage. She's going to try to firebolt that guy. Will hit him. Oh, 8 points of damage. So, hanging in there. Fired up again with 1 hit point left. Just kind of probably at this point, like on the ground, actively on fire, rolling, trying to get themselves out, but also just horrifically burned at this point. So it is their turn. Let's give them some charisma roll under. So they need to roll a 12 or less to stay in the fight. So that first guy, I think I'm gonna give disadvantage to, considering he is almost dead. Okay, so disadvantage in this case means that we would take the higher number. So not the 1, but the 19. So horrifically burned guy, Dark Man over there, is going to pre-Dark Man is going to is going to try to boogie out of here. Next one, that guy's going to boogie. Third one stays in the fight. Fourth one stays in. All right, so these 2 guys are going to boogie. There's no attacks of opportunity. They can easily get back into the stairwell and into the passages and disappear. That's not great, though, because it does mean that they're running. That means that they're likely to raise an alarm. But there are 2 still in the fight. I guess I'll just roll 2d4 to figure out who they attack. They're both going to attack Delg, I guess. They still have disadvantage, though. But I'm pretty sure they're going to hit 11, which is exactly Delg's AC. Well, crap. Alright, well, that's 1 hit. And 2 hits. Okay, so he'll take Delg getting roughed up this time. This is not too bad. It's 12 points of damage in total. So down to 15. Down to about half health. Not great, though. He's getting porcupined over there really badly with Javelin. Though they're probably running a little bit short on Javelin now. Alright, well, that was the bad guys. There's only 2 of them left. Imbar's gonna pop up and take a shot, I guess. We're still pretty much fighting. Since they're in here, and we can't, like, get over to them to make them surrender, so I don't think anybody's really thinking about trying to talk to them at this point. Especially when they have such a massive advantage. Now, she still has disadvantage because of reverse gravity. But that's still gonna hit, so she's still gonna hit in one of them. Then do maximum damage, which I think is 11? 10. Oh, just 10. Alright, so she hits one of these guys. And he's gonna be hurt. Delg will try to sling at that same one. Disadvantage still, though. And yeah. He's not doing great. Alright, is the gravity back to normal? That's the Oracle. No, still in reverse gravity. Ott's back up at the top. She'll take a shot with disadvantage. Miss. The second shot. Also miss. Dang. Alright. Leah will firebolt. I mean, there's no point in her doing anything else at this point. That is going to hit. And just enough to fricassee this one. So we just got the one left. This one is probably going to run, so I'm going to give them disadvantage. Which is technically advantage. Didn't matter anyways. 2 18s. That orc is running. Question. Can we see any of the orcs? Primarily that last one. Before they disappear? Yes. Okay. So everybody's gonna. We'll just go around the horn, and those with 120 range can take a shot. So everybody will get a shot at him. He's not in cover anymore. At that last guy, at least. Yeah, Imbar's gonna hit him. And we'll see. Delg still has disadvantage, but could technically hit him. Is not going to hit him. Oh, I forgot to. Imbar technically needs to roll a second die. I mean, she was going to hit anyways. Alright, it's going to miss. And Leah is going to miss. Okay, so, but Imbar's going to hit with 1. I mean, not going to kill this guy. But going to hurt that last one before they hobble off. Alright, well, that's the end of combat. We are officially out of combat. Now, the question is do we want to try to do the short rest now? Because if we do that, I'm gonna basically give us disadvantage on our D12 checks to see if we get interrupted. But I think we have to at this point. Now that we've been hurt, I think we have to at least take the short rest. I think that's worth doing. Does Delg when using the healer kit charges? I don't think so. I think he's gonna leave. We're still pretty good HP wise for the most part, and we haven't used any hit die, so I think he's going to rely on the hit die and just hope that we don't roll poorly and have to go immediately into a combat before we do our next rest. That's the hope, anyways. So, that's what we're planning on. Let's check some arrows. So, for Ott, and for Imbar, okay. So we're good on arrows. Somebody has the light. Let's check the lamp. Okay, so the lamp's fine too. All right, so we're good as far as supplies are good. We're still gonna try to get that short rest. I think this time we're gonna really kind of bed down, and we're really gonna try to hide, make ourselves discreet as much as possible. I mean, if anybody comes down here, they're gonna see the dead bodies on the other side, or on the near side of the chasm. So there's not a lot we can do about that right now. So we're just gonna try to hide, and if somebody comes down here and investigates us, maybe they don't see us and just they kind of fart off, and don't do anything while they're down here. Maybe. I mean, they'll probably find us, but they might miss us. Alright, so let's take the short rest. I'm gonna roll 2 of these 2d12s and see if either one rolls a 1. Good there. And good there. Okay, so we are gonna get the short rest done. Perfect. So we'll do a little bit of healing. Let's roll some hit dice. Imbar's gonna spin some hit dice. She's gonna hit she has +2. Alright, so that's 4. We're gonna need more than that. Okay. See, this is the sort of hit die I'm looking for. Alright, so that is 10, so 14 points. That's good. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what you need. So I'll put her directly back at full. You might be wondering why she has 5 hit die. If you're paying attention, why she has 5 hit die instead of 4 hit die, and that's because even though she's a 4th level sidekick, the hobgoblin warrior, or just basic hobgoblin stat block she's based off of starts with 2d8 hit die. So you just add 1 per level. So that's why sometimes the sidekicks end up with like way more hit dice than the players do. It's a little interesting quirk of the system. And we are good to go here. Alright. We finished our short rest. We need to get back across this chasm. This is really this is more time than I wanted to spend in here. Look, we've gotten across the chasm already. There's not that a huge chance that that something super weird's going to go wrong, because we're pretty practiced at doing this now, surprisingly, because we failed so many times getting back across. It's really more of a time sink thing. So I'm trying to think, do I make checks to see if they get across without getting hurt, or do I just maybe do some rolls for a wandering encounter? Let's do some wandering monster encounter rolls. I think that'll be better. And worst comes to worst, we end up with another fight down here. We'd like to not do that, but if we need to do that, that's probably easier than going back through the rigmarole of the ropes and getting back across the chasm and doing the timing things, because we did all that in the last session, so we already know what that's going to look like, and that they're pretty good at not hurting themselves doing it, because we didn't have anybody hurt themselves doing it. So yeah, I guess we'll make. I'm just gonna give it like a 1d3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how many I'll roll. Alright, I guess we're rolling 3 times. Don't roll a 1, please. Okay. 12 is technically something kind of happens, but... I'm not sure what that would be in this dungeon. Usually that means there's no non-com... I'll just ask a clarifying question. Do we meet some sort of, as far as we know, unaligned NPC? No. Okay. Then I'm just gonna blow past that. It's nothing useful for us. Maybe some more skittering bugs or something like that. There's nothing of particularly important note that we saw. It's nothing bad there. Alright, so we get back across. So we're in room 4. We need to go back up that passage. Now, let's go ahead and roll these bodies, because we've got some bodies over here, and we might be able to use some of their stuff. Most specifically, this is something for Imbar. So, Imbar has chainmail. That Orog has plate mail. So... I'm gonna ask the Oracle. Can she use this suit of plate armor? I mean, Imbar's a beefy lady. She might be able to. It might be a little like roomy, because she's not like orc big, like Orog big, but she's a big lady. She's a big muscular lady. So there's a chance that she could wear it. So I think maybe just a 50-50 chance. Can she wear this plate mail that we found? Yes. Okay. Well, that's great. I don't know any reason why we wouldn't take the time to do that. We're taking this time to strip these bodies anyway, so we're going to do that. So we'll roll another random encounter, because we're spending a bunch of time in here. Nope, nothing to worry about. Do we find a neutral person and they come down? Oh, they did. Alright. So somebody's going to rock up on us, I think. Let's see, who do we want this to be? This is what I would consider technically a kind of a complex, kind of. So I'm gonna roll this d6 first. Sorry, I'm looking at a note. 3. Okay, so something artificial. What kind of artificial? 12. What's 12? Some sort of humanoid. Is it just one humanoid? I think that's kind of likely. So +3. Oh, it's not though. So let's do like 2d3. Okay, so there's 4 of them. Of whoever these people are. It could just be like dudes. Just straight up guys. Yeah, it could be thugs of some type. That wouldn't make sense. Maybe like some... Yeah, maybe some thugs and like a bandit captain. So some other people. So we come across some humans. And everybody's kind of... As they're sort of putting stuff together. And let's give them a reaction roll. Because this isn't technically supposed to be a fight. So let's give them a little reaction roll. Okay, so they're pretty helpful. They're happy to see some other some humanoids in there. They kind of come around. They're like, oh. They probably see us stripping the bodies and they're like, oh. I see you made it into these catacombs as well. Sort of who's clearly the leader, that bandit captain. What brings you to this place? This place is a death trap filled with goblins and orcs and gnolls. What are you doing here? And I think, and as he sort of makes that, I think it kind of growls at him. You know, being a gnoll and all. Who's going to take lead on this? Is this, Leah's my go-to, but let's ask, is Imbar going to take the lead on this? Yes, Imbar has a lot to say about this. Alright, sure. Imbar, you're doing the talkie. I think she stands up as a person who's probably halfway through sort of changing into this bloodied plate mail. She's cleaning it. She's probably cleaning it up with like a rag that's pink now with blood. Who wants to know? Who are you? What are you doing down here? It's a dangerous place, after all. Sort of a bit of a standoff. I think I'm not gonna roll persuasion for that. And I'll give Imbar an insight check. Why not? She gets advantage. She has other people here. Yeah, 18 goes with her. 18. her big 0 to any wisdom based stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's enough. So yeah, she's gonna try to get the vibe. So I think that's a good enough roll. Can she? You know, instead I'm just gonna. So I think I said last time I'm trying out these prompts from the Solo Dark from Chalcedon, her little extra thing that she published for Shadow Dark for doing solo play. She's doing a little series on it that she just kicked off, which has been really cool. 58. It just kind of gives us an idea. So this is sort of Imbar, why Imbar thinks these people are down here. Or is pretty sure this is why they're here. 58, so they're here to open something. Open 84. Open decay. I mean, that sounds like tomb robbers to me. Just pretty straightforward tomb robbers. Yeah, these are just good old scavengers. It's like, so she's gonna be like, why don't you buzzards find somewhere else to pick, some other bodies to pick clean? We've got these already. How does he react? I'll give her a persuasion check. Yeah, I'll give her advantage because she knows she kind of has a bead on them. Doesn't matter. She didn't do well anyways. Yeah, I mean, that's a low DC, but it's still a 10. Which she definitely did not beat with her 6. So I think they're gonna brush off. I think it looks like the bandit captain's kind of looking at them, kind of looking at his crew, trying to gauge whether maybe they try to take stuff here from these people by force. It seems, I mean, they've got quite a bit of gear on them. You can probably see that they're stripping these bodies. Certainly you can see that some of their gear, in addition to just things like the plate mail being valuable and some of the gear they have being valuable, probably a good idea. Maybe not with 100% certainty, but probably with pretty good guess estimation that our group looks like they probably have some magic items on them. One of them is definitely a wizard, right? Definitely some sort of spellcaster. He's got a big book and flowing robes and all that usual spellcaster stuff. She has no armor on delving these dungeons. All right. Let's just ask. Is this bandit captain going to start a scuffle? I don't think so. It's a pretty even bet, like side by side, but I think he probably recognizes that his crew is probably a little bit weaker in power than they are, and definitely probably doesn't have any magic items on them. So I think it's unlikely that he's going to start a scuffle. But let's ask. Is this guy going to start a scuffle? No. Alright. Well, I guess we'll leave you to it. We'll find our carrion somewhere else. Is there anything we want to ask these guys before they turn to leave? I guess Leo will ask him, are you guys from the lands to the northwest as well? I don't think I need to do a persuasion check. I don't know if this guy would lie about it. I think we'll just write 50-50, yes or no. Yes, but it seems very cloaked. Sure, I'll let her make an insight check to see whether she knows he's lying. And rolled very well. even though she doesn't have the greatest insight. Oh yeah. This says yes. So these definitely do seem like people that are also foreigners. What do you? What is What do your people want with this place? Why are they here? Why are they causing all this commotion with the orc? She kind of motions at the dead bodies on the ground. Do they have any idea? I don't. I think it's extremely unlikely that they do. Yeah, they have no clue. That's -5, so that's straight up no. The guy kind of looks back at him. I don't know. We just strip carrying. Kind of pointedly looks at Imbar. Like, you know, maybe we know something, but I'm not going to tell you now. Leah's gonna make like a motion. I don't know what that is. Probably some sort of like hand motion. It's like a go in peace kind of motion, like a goodbye, like we're leaving on good terms. We're not leaving it like that. I assume that they respond with it. I don't think we really need to roll for that. I don't think they're going to brook any trouble down the line. Good, but probably not. All right, so we're gonna finish stripping these bodies. What do these bodies look like? All right, so that's orc. They've got hold on. I mean, they've got hide armor, but I think hide is technically medium, right? So I don't think even Delg can wear that. So yeah, so I've been trying to see if we could scavenge some armor for Delg, but we just have not come across people who have been wearing light armor. And these guys don't have any daggers to replace this dagger. He could take a javelin. Javelin's technically a... he's already got a spear, though. And he's going to be just as good with his sling anyways. Alright, so those guys, not going to have a lot on them. But I think we are going to take the time to get that plate armor on Imbar. I think we are going to take the time, which I think takes like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. I'm going to count this part as the same thing, though. We've had quite a bit of interruptions. I want to get out of this room. I just want to get the armor on. But that's going to be it, though, because these guys don't really have anything else. I'll roll some minor treasure, maybe. Well, these guys might not have a lot of them. Let's see. There were 4 of them. Let's see, how many of them have treasure on them? 3. Okay. Sure. We'll roll some treasure. Why not? It's not gonna be a ton, but we'll do it, just in case. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Doing okay. Just trying to get out of this stupid room we've been in since the end of last session. It's been our entire time in this room. I'm tired of being in this room. I want to explore more of the dungeon. All right, we got found out by the Orc Patrol. We took a short rest and. We did have 3, I believe, orcs escaped. So this is probably gonna put some disadvantage on us later. So, as far as sort of searching for wandering monsters, because it's more likely people are gonna find us now, because people will definitely know we're here. We've left some bodies in our wake. We did take a short rest. The orcs got plate armor for Imbar, which is a very nice upgrade. Foreigners from the northwest, so they're kind of following whoever those foreign nationals are. So they're probably here now. If we're coming across other humanoids who are also from that area, and we can assume that they're sort of leeches, they're sort of hangers-on, you know, people who strip battlefields, things like that. Then we're definitely going to be able to, I think it's pretty safe to assume that we're going to do that. Alright, well, let's update Imbar. So she's going to go from 18 to 18, 20. Alright, so she's going to get that, nobody else can wear that chainmail, I don't think. I mean, no, nobody else can wear that. So unfortunately we can't push that down the line. But she does have plate now, which is very nice. Now she's got some plate armor. That is going to make her slower, though. I'm just going to drop her speed. Okay, I'm done. Alright, yep, looks good there. She is going to have disadvantage. She already had disadvantage on stealth checks, so she was already in heavy armor. Alright, well, I guess we sally forth. Go back. So, in our dungeon, we have done rooms 1, 2, and 4. We have not done 3, so we can go back to 2. If we go back to 2, which is the underground fountain we came across, we can go to 3. That's pretty much our path right now. So we can take that other passage that goes out. We'll find out what that got. We know that that goes up. We know that that's going to take us back to the surface, pretty sure. So that's sort of the plan. That's what we're going to go with. That's our only way forward because we haven't found any other secrets or other exits or anything like that. But as far as once we start doing the backtracking, we are going to have to roll for more wandering monsters. Oh, it's a little strange to talk in English and watch D&D video streams like that. It's really doubt that I'm good at it. Hey, it's all about practice. It's all about practice. In both ways, both language skills and D&D stuff. It's all about practice. So we're gonna go back through that passage. We're heading back to 2. I'm gonna roll with that disadvantage, and we'll cancel those out for the people who ran as we do it. Well, gosh darn it, we are just gonna get into a bunch of fights today, huh? Alright, so we make it back into 2, and as we're going back into 2, we're gonna have a random encounter. Let's see, I assume that we're sneaking. That was kind of my thought. I think Ott's leaning a little bit in front of everybody, so she doesn't have to deal with the plate armor and the delg in the back not being very good. But she also didn't roll great. So we're sneaking back towards Chamber 2, the ruined fountain, underground fountain. And she has rolled, well, she does have expertise, so 4, 5, 6, 7. So she rolled a 15. What's the DC? No, that DC smoked her. So whoever it is, are they technically waiting in ambush? Let's ask. +3. Yeah. Yep, we're about to walk our happy butts right into an ambush. Let's see. This is technically a Gnoll's room. Is it more Gnolls? Probably. Yeah, with a +3. It's 11. So yeah, more Gnolls. Here's a question. While they were laying in ambush, they might be laying in ambush for us. They might be laying in ambush for our tomb robbers. We don't know. Could be either way. We're not quite sure at this point, so all we know is that as she's sort of moving in there, I assume, did they attack Ott as soon as she shows up? I think that's almost extremely likely. I don't think they're going to wait for everybody else to get into the room. Okay, no, but they do. They absolutely let everybody get into the room. And this is going to be a Gnoll fight, so let's get some... So we're going to stumble our happy butts across some Gnoll flesh gnawers. They are pretty straightforward enemies. Bites, short swords, sudden rush. Until the end of the turn, the Gnoll speed increases by 60 feet and it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. I'm trying to figure out... I think this is supposed to be an action to run through things, so I don't think it's like a bonus action where they do the rush and then do their things. But they're gonna pounce on us. I'm gonna just go ahead and give them the initiative, so they'll start off the fight, but we'll figure out what's going on with them. So there are I said 3 of these guys, right? Yes. All right, so there are 3 Gnoll flesh gnawers. It's not a good day for us. It's been a day. Good thing we had all those natural 20s in the first fight and stuff. Because apparently we are just going to hit every potential fight possible. Alright, who's kind of going here? So we have Ott. Nope. Leah. Nope. Imbar. Oh, so Imbar will probably be going first. Well, as soon as they get their little present. Okay, so it's basically Aunt, Leah. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like. There's 3 of them. Okay, so let's figure out who's not gonna get attacked. We'll use the initiative order to tell us. All right, so nobody's gonna attack Leah in the first round. Oh, you're a total noob. That's totally fine. I'm not sure. I'll be real honest. I'm not sure this is gonna be the best stream to learn that from because we got a lot of moving parts here. But I do enjoy. Thanks for coming up and showing up and seeing what it looks like. I appreciate that, and you'll learn something. But it may be a little bit more complicated. This may be a step 2 for you. Maybe not step 1 if you're looking for something that's a little bit more approachable because we're doing things fast and we're not maybe not the greatest at explaining it while I'm doing it. But if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'll address them as possible. While we're doing that. Alright, so the Flesh Gnawers are coming in. They're gonna make 3 attacks. Oh man, they're gonna have advantage because they're sneaking. Well, technically everybody gets like a perception check, right, to avoid being surprised. Do that. So let's set a DC. Oh, actually, we know what the DC is. It's gonna be the room DC. We'll just do that. What's the room DC? This is 2. DC 17. Alright. So now we know what we're doing. So we're trying to hit a DC 17 with our perception check. Probably going to be hard for Imbar. Okay, so Imbar's not surprised. Delg. Delg is surprised. Ott's surprised. Leah's surprised. Okay, so the only person who's not surprised is Imbar. So this first one's going to go on Imbar. So they are not going to get advantage, but they are going to sword bite. That's definitely... she just bumped up her AC, so that may actually... Because technically her AC is 20 right now. So it may not hit her. I'm going to move this up. They get a +4 to hit. Alright, so 15 plus 4 is 19, so that is not going to hit with 2 of them. But she is going to hit with... They are going to hit with 1 of those swords. 1d6 plus 2. So she'll take 1d6 plus 2. Of course, it will be maximum damage. Why would it not be? They're not going to pull any punches on us, apparently. Alright, well, those were the ones that they didn't have advantage on. So, the rest of it's all kind of downhill from here, I think, for us. Alright, so that was against Imbar. So against Delg, nobody's going against Delg. Or no, sorry, nobody's going against Leah. So for Delg, gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit with all these, probably. Yep. Yeah, they have a +4 to hit, so he's getting hit with every last one of those. Again, he is not a combat NPC. That's really why I was trying to find him some freaking armor. Alright, so he gets D4 and 2d6s. Alright. Both of them are +2. Alright, so 2. He's about to take quite a bit of damage. 12 plus what? Is it 2 or 3? Sorry. 2. Alright, alright, so it's 18. Ouch. Ow. That's a lot of hurt. That's most of our boys' hit points. That's not great. That's very bad. Ooh, and he's our healer. We really don't want Delg to go down. We gotta fix that real quick. All right, and against Ott, miss. Not gonna hit. Hit. And crit on the bite. Okay. Okay, could have been worse. That's only 11 points of damage. Ended up much better. So, Ott's doing way better than Delg is. Alright, and that's everybody, because Leah did not get targeted in this round. So, apparently they jumped on everybody who has some form of armor on, except for the mage who has none on. You know, gnolls aren't the smartest creatures in the world. So they jumped on him, and alright, well that's them. So then it's Imbar. Imbar has everything out. She pulls free the moon blade, and the room lights up with this pale, almost moon quality kind of bluish light, reflects in through the shadows and everything, because we don't really need the lantern anymore now that she has the sword. So she's gonna make a couple attacks. I assume that she can hit one of them. They ambushed us. We're in the center. They jumped on us. She's obviously going to have an ally next to her, or somebody. So that's going to give her advantage for some flanking, I think. Which she needed it apparently with that natural one. All right, but that should hit. Yeah, that's a 20. They definitely don't have better than 20 AC. Which is good. So she's going to do the D8, and then she's going to do the plus 2d6. So she's going to rip one of these up pretty badly, with 13 points of damage. And she rips one, probably across the midsection with the back of her sword. Slashes it. Lets out a little chittering howl. Kind of that snorting laugh thing that hyena do. Alright, I said 11, right? So that's half of its hit points. Right off the bat. Great job, Imbar. Do you want to do anything else? You've been kind of hurt. But, no, I'm not going to have her use her second one just yet. And that's all she's got right now. She doesn't have any sort of specific things going on, so Imbar is just going to hold him back with the shield and go after him. So that brings us to Ott's next, right? Delg. Oh, Delg. Delg has a spear. He's going to move towards... Let me just ask. Can he get to the one that... no. Physician, heal thyself. Physician needs to heal himself. He can't take another flurry of attacks. So he is going to help himself to hopefully some hit points. 4 plus 8, so 12 hit points. So he's back 23. So not bad, but he has, and I'll just put it up here, he has used his healer's kit on himself, so he can't do it again until we rest again, and we just rested. And he, as bonus action, is going to disengage and get out of that melee, because he cannot be in there, so he's going to pull away from the group. So he's going to back away. He's going to action roll out of the middle of the ambush and head for some cover. That will be his turn. Oh yeah, absolutely. I can tell you exactly who we've got. So Imbar is our human fighter, technically a human warrior because they're a sidekick character. We have Delg, who is a dwarf barber surgeon. He is also a sidekick. He is not really. He's kind of a straightforward NPC. He's not really a adventurer of any stripe. He's just kind of along for the ride because we need a healer, unfortunately. Ott is a Gnoll, big hairy Gnoll. She is an expert sidekick character. She's kind of roguey, between a rogue and a ranger. She's a guide and tracker. And Leia, who is our main character, is a Order of the Scribes wizard, and she is a high elf. So that's who we've got going on, and she has a familiar. I don't talk about Igni very much, but she has familiar, a flame method familiar, which we may use here because we're gonna get pushed around pretty hard. But it is Delg's turn. That's what Delg did his thing, so it is Ott's turn. So Ott's got 2 attacks. It's gonna do their disengage to move around and get into flanking position with Imbar. What is that? Let me see. I think that's gonna hit. Yeah, with her spear. All right, so she hits 1 with the first attack. And I think that... Is that going to be enough to kill it? That's... no, that's only 9. I don't think that's enough to kill it, right? No, it's not. It's still got 2 hit points left. Dang it. That's alright. She has a second attack. I was just hoping to get the rampage off first. Alright, she's got a second attack. Oh, that one's not gonna hit, though. She misses. Dang. You know, we've been playing a lot of sessions, and I have not been able to get Ott's rampage ability off, because she has to drop a character to 0 hit points in melee, and she's just much better with a bow most of the time. Alright, well, that's Ott. She did her bonus action to disengage and move around to get into flanking, though that's... that person's technically still alive, because I can't kill them. Alright, well, poop. That's not great. That's not what we wanted. But she does not have the Moontouch Longsword anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that from her inventory. Imbar has that. That takes us to, I believe, Leah, right? Leah's who's next? We're at the bottom of the initiative. Leah's surrounded. Friends are getting wrapped up pretty bad. She doesn't have a lot of great in melee kind of spells. And I guess let's ask, since she didn't get a task this turn, is she in melee? I still think that's likely. +3. No, okay, so she's outside of melee. So she was hanging back or looking at something and when they pounced. And so she's actually outside of it. So she's going to move back over by, I guess, Delg. She'll try to move in to protect Delg as Delg's sort of bandaging himself up. And she can see the one that's hurt. Yeah, I think she'll just take a shot at him with Firebolt. That's certainly not going to hit, though. That's an 11. Dang. Great job. Oh, well. Alright, so that's the bottom of the order. Back to the top is our Monars. Well, there's unfortunately 3 of them. They're still engaged. I guess I'll give a morale for the one that's hurt. Yeah, he absolutely snaked it, so he's good. All right, who's gonna get the extra attack? I guess odds. It's Ott. Okay, it's even. So Imbar's gonna get attacked. They're pretty even Stevens right now, so I don't know if anybody's gonna be able to get flanking. So I think they're just gonna do 3 straight attacks. So on Imbar, 2 misses and a hit with the bite. So 1d4 plus 2 on Imbar. 4 points of damage on Imbar from one of them. That's good. Thank goodness we picked up that plate mail. It's already saving our butts. And thank goodness it fit. That was really the more important thing. Otherwise, it'd just be worth a lot of money and a very heavy treasure to drag around. Alright, and then there's another one that's on her. Those are all terrible. Those all miss. Then Ott has 3 on her. Miss. 15, right? 15 hit her AC? Yeah. Okay. So that was the last one, I believe, as well. So she'll get a bite attack for 6 points damage. Okay, not too bad. Not what we want, but not too bad. She's about half health. She's gonna need some help pretty soon. All right. That is all our bad guys. They're still in the fight. Imbar's in there first. Imbar is not going to attack the one with 2 hit points. That one's on death's door. She's going to turn around, and I assume... well, we'll just ask. Can she reach one of the other ones without provoking? I think that's likely. +3. Yes. Alright. So she will look at another one, and she'll do an attack. I assume Ott's in the fray, too, so she'll be able to hit. Yeah, that's certainly going to hit. So she's going to get the bonus from Ott. Plus her sword. And sword 12. 13, 14. 14 points of damage to another one as she rips through it. That pale light being thrown all over this chamber, and you see the ripple of it, the reflection of the water in the fountains. You see it dance across the ceiling of the sandstone ceiling of this area as they get into this fight. And that is Imbar. She keeps them at bay. Delg will what Delg's gonna do? Delg's gonna get a look at what everybody's health looks like, which is not great. Ott's not doing super good. So I think he is gonna run in, and so he'll use his move to move in, and then he's going to apply bandages to Ott, and then he's going to use his disengage bonus action, his cunning action, to move out. Alright, so he gets 4 plus 8? Yeah, 4 plus 8. Okay, so 12 hit points back. That's definitely needed. That makes us back up to 28. And she can't get any more healing until they take a rest. And he bandages her up real quick. And then disengages back. That's Delg. Ott's in the fray. Ott's gonna... She'll do a stab against the one that's just barely hanging on first. Yeah, that'll hit 16. Can't not kill that guy. And you know what that means. She finally, for the first time in all of this adventure, all these adventures that we've been doing all this entire campaign, she reduces a creature in melee to 0. She can move 15 feet and make a free bite attack as a bonus action. So she is going to move up. She's going to move her 15 feet into flanking with the one that Imbar attacked. And she will try to bite that one. And she is absolutely going to bite that one. For 6 points of damage. Let's go. Great job. It's still up though. And so she's going to try to jab it with the sword. Her spear. That's 17 to hit. Can't not kill that one. So we see her finally go into a, for the first time ever, we see Ott's mouth start to foam as she goes into a Gnoll battle fury, which we have not seen her do. And she rips through another Gnoll, and then her mouth starts foaming, and she sort of like bounds across on all fours and jumps on the back of the other one and bites him, and then shoves her spear like up through the ribcage and kills it, takes it to the ground. And point of order, of course, because Gnolls and the way that the Gnoll lore is that Ott is a female Gnoll, which means she is larger. She's about a head higher than most male Gnolls. So she is she's big and she's mean and she's nasty, and she is in a battle fury against these flesh gnars. Or now there's only one, so she kind of like turns her attentions on that one. It's sort of like blood and gore sort of like drips out of her gummy mouth, her very sort of saliva-rich mouth right now. Alright, and then Leah kind of turns around at that one. There's no reason that she should probably use a measured spell at this one. Does she want to talk to these creatures? These creatures, she can't, actually. We've tried this before. They only speak Gnoll, so Ott's the only person that can talk to it, and Ott's in a battle fury, so probably not gonna happen. So we'll just assume that she'll just do a firebolt. Why not? And shoot it right through the hole in the ceiling, apparently. Into the night sky, 120 feet. Great job, Leah. I'm glad you're here and our main character. Well, it's the Flesh Gnar. They make their morale roll. Makes their morale roll. They're also getting into their blood fury. We've got 4 people here. I assume it's going to go after Ott. Does it go after Ott? Yes, okay. Gonna move in and do its 3 attacks on Ott. Actually, that's gonna be a 14. So it will get hit with 1 short sword. She'll get hit with 1 short sword attack. So she'll take 5 points of damage. She gets ripped through with a short sword as this one tries to like double hand bury that short sword into her, and she has to like hold it back into her shoulder, trying to push it back off. She's snapping at him with her salivating maw. Alright. That's their turn. So that's all they can do. So we're down to the killing part. Yeah, Imbar's gonna do the Imbar stuff, yeah. That absolutely hits. Oop, not that one. Ooh, poor showing though. Very low rolls. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 points of damage. A 1. Alright, well. Every little bit helps, I suppose. Delg will attempt to sling. Delg's actually going to hit. Great job, Delg. He's hiding in the back for a whopping 1 point of damage. I'm helping. Alright, Ott is gonna get some spear attacks in. First one's gonna hit. Double crit on the second one. Alright, well, let's yeah, that's 16 points of damage as she in her battle rage just rips this Gnoll apart that stabbed her. So we end the combat, everybody's in there. We're a little worse for wear. We're not doing terrible on hit points, but we're also not great, and we really don't want to take another short rest at this point. Imbar's not down far enough to yeah, she's not going to take her second wind. Alright, well, let's strip these bodies real fast, I guess. Oh, which I didn't strip the last ones either, but we are going to take the time to strip the bodies. See if we find anything. God. Alright, while we're stripping these bodies, more people show up. Alright, well, let's at least adjust this. So we've done 2 of our 3. That would have been with disadvantage. Didn't really matter because we rolled a 1 immediately on checking for that. But that's 2 of our 3 orcs escaped who have alerted other people. So great. We have another attack. Ugh. So they're coming. Let's give ourselves a perception check. We have advantage. We have a bunch of people. We'll use Ott because Ott's got the most sensitive ears. Ott, 12 plus, what's her perception? 14, 15. Alright, so DC 15. The room's DC is 17 though, so we're not going to get any advanced warning. We did not pass our perception check because we're sort of stripping these bodies. Because it's going to be like, well, if we pass the perception check, we might decide to run away before the fight gets here. And the trade-off is we don't strip the bodies. But no, we're like, we're going to strip the bodies. So somebody else rolls up on this. Alright, so at this point, we've got a few different factions now. They're sort of in the pipe. We have, let's go all the way down here to the bottom. So we've got goblins, gnolls, orcs, or foreign faction. Let's just roll a d4. We'll figure out who's kind of gonna show up. 2. Okay, so more gnolls. Well, great. Let's maybe do some hyena. Alright, so I think there's one pack lord who's gonna show up because we gotta keep fighting tougher dudes because we keep taking out all the mooks of the gnolls. Nobody got away this time though. They basically made no headway so far in this session. It's not great. It's a problem. I don't know, we could get, alright, so we could have... Alright, let's do like a 1d3 minus 1. Alright, that's 1 minus 1. Alright, so we are not gonna have any giant hyena. So everybody else is gonna be gnolls. There's probably... Alright, so we'll do a d... What was that? That was deadly, right? So a d4 plus 1. Just regular gnoll. Figure out how many... of course. Of course, that's when I roll the high numbers. When it comes to how many people will be trying to kill me. Delightful. Alright. So there's 5 of them. So we got a gnoll pack lord and some gnolls. What are you gonna do? So these are the people that are rolling up on this. So we're trying to strip more bodies. We have more people roll off on them. I'm now 2 down on treasures because I forgot to do the treasures for the orcs that we pulled. So after this combat, and assuming we don't have another combat happen, we'll strip all these bodies and I'll do all the minor treasure rolls, and that may have to be where we cut the session. We're going to see what happens. I'm very frustrated. We're not making actual headway. We just keep getting stymied by attack after attack after attack. It's like playing a survival waves video game at this point. All right, so we'll use 12 as our basis for their passive initiative. So, Leah, yes. Ot, no. Imbar, yes. So we're gonna go Imbar, Leah, Pack Lord, Delg. Come on, buddy. Delg. Alright. Perfect. So Ot is going to be in the slow round. Everybody else is getting to go before them. Love that. At least it's good on the initiative. So we can catch them sort of successfully. So we're going to just sort of meet on a common ground. So nobody's really got the upper hand here. Yeah, we don't. It's bad we don't have any detections. Well, it would be helpful if our scout just rolled better to do things, or we just stop stripping bodies after everybody we kill. But that's the D&D way. That's the only way we get our wealth, is by stripping it off of dead people. So, all right. Well, Imbar's up first, so I think we're coming into this fray. It's side A, side B. Are they coming in? Here's the question. I need to know. Are they coming in from above? I think that's likely. +3. Yeah, okay. So they're coming from the ceiling above and dropping down in. Which means they'll probably take some fall damage, because that's certainly above 10 feet. I can't remember if I don't think we actually said how high it is, but yeah, I think they're probably gonna... I think there's probably a rope. There's got to be a rope ladder or something that they can sort of like come down on, so they don't have to jump and take damage. But it does kind of stymie their ability to get into the passages very easily, because they're going to need to come down. Yeah, it is the adventuring spirit to steal things off them. We had that confrontation with some tomb robbers, but I mean, we're not really any better than those people. We're basically doing the same thing, except with more blood. We're just, where they rob already dead people, we rob living people by making them dead. We just add an extra step at the front. We kill them and then take stuff from them. Alright, well, Imbar's going to be up first at the attack. Have any of them, let's ask this oracle question, do any of them get into the room first? No, okay. So we see them sort of probably drop the rope, and that's sort of like what draws our attention, I guess. Everybody does that, and then I assume probably one of the gnolls is probably getting ready to come down first. So that's who she's going to see. Do they have cover? I don't think so. No. Okay. Yeah. So no cover, so she can shoot at them nice and easily. So yeah, she's going to take a longbow shot then. And miss. Great. Leah. This would be a good moment for it. I don't know if she's going to use it. Do we use it? It's nice to have it in our back pocket, but it's also nice to use it. This could really be helpful for us. It can also be really bad for us if she uses the scroll of fireball. One thing, it's going to neutralize a lot of this encounter if she does it. I mean, she'd really like to be able to put that into her spellbook to record it. But we keep running into fights. The only other thing is that it's definitely, you set off a fireball in the middle of the city, people are going to notice. I mean, people already know we're here. For sure. Oh, what are we going to do? What is she going to do? I'm going to make her, yeah, let's do that. That's fun. I want to try that. She's going to try to do a non-traditional use of grease, and she is going to try to grease the rope that's hanging down. Rather than do an area, she's going to try to imbue the entire rope that's hanging down that they're going to use to descend with grease to make it nice and slippery. So they're going to have to make some checks to see if they don't fall. And then maybe she can light it on fire. But I am going to make her have to do like an Arcana check to do it, I think, because it's not a traditional use of that spell. By any means. Alright. Yeah, there's not really anybody that can help her or give her guidance or anything like that, so she's just gonna have to do it, see if she does it. Nope, that's a failure. Okay. So, does she at least grease the area around the hole, maybe? Yeah, okay. So she greases up there, so they still have to move. Whenever they move, they have to make a dex save to get through it. But and she doesn't really get it on the rope. That's a hard thing she's trying to do, and she's very pressed and stressed out, and to focus on it, and she can't quite get it. So it's mainly the grease. Basically the grease spell just happens around sort of the hole in the ceiling that they're going to use to descend into this fountain area. All right, well, she used that. Boo. Because I'm like, we could have used the fireball, but the fireball would have not been great for us, I think, in the long term. And I think Leah's smart enough to know not to do that, maybe. Maybe she's smart enough to know not to do that. So that's how she spends her turn, unfortunately. Delg. Delg will attempt to sling. Why not? He might hit. He doesn't get advantage, though. No, he doesn't. Alright, well, we really flubbed our advantage here. We didn't really get a ton done. So, that's not great. Is the Pack Lord coming? He's going first initiative. Is he going to come down first? I think that's extremely unlikely. No. Yeah, we can definitely set fire to the grease with Firebolt. That is definitely a thing we can do. But it is nice, just, they also have to have this slippery ledge around an area they're trying to descend from, and they could also just fall and hurt themselves. Alright. So he's up there. He's going to... He's barking orders at them to get down there. And I guess he'll pull out his longbow and take a shot at somebody. Somebody on our team. We'll just go down initiative order. Like, against Leah. They're like, oh crap, they've got a mage, and gonna take a shot at Leah. And miss. I probably should have said Leah moves into cover, but I didn't say that, so she's not in cover. So the Pack Lord misses. One of those gnolls is definitely going to try to descend. They need to make an acrobatics check first. Which, of course, they get a natural 20. So you watch one sort of jump onto the rope and sort of like zip down it and drop down to the bottom and come out. Does have enough, last oracle, have enough movement to get to somebody? Yeah, alright. There's, like I said, there's 4 of us and we're not really set up defensively. Pounces on Delg. Okay. Moves up to attack Delg. And we'll hit Delg. Technically using a shield, so you're going to be doing the 1d6. That's nice. 1d6 plus 2 against Delg. Minimum damage. I'll take it. I'll take the minimum damage. He's down to 20 hit points. So he has 1 on them. Another one is going to make their dexterity saving throw. And I think that still passes. I think her DC is pretty low. Yeah, it's spell DC. They definitely have a +1 attack. So that one's going to make it down and zip down to the bottom and go after somebody who's not Delg. I think I just rolled Delg again, so we'll go down. We'll go down the initiative order. And we're going to Delg, so that one goes against Odd. Make an attack, and we'll miss. All right, our third Gnoll is going to try to get down. Really, another. What a waste of a grease spell. They're having no problems with the grease spell whatsoever. That one shimmies down, and we'll go against, I guess, high will be Leah. Alright, goes against Leah. Makes an attack against her. Misses. And 4th one. No problems with the grease. Jumps on the rope and slides down. Gosh, dang it. And that one's going to go after Inbar, obviously. I don't believe they have a +5 to hit. They do not. So misses thanks to the plate armor already saving us. That 1 extra AC goes a long, long way. Alright, so there's one more Gnoll. Will that one get down? No, that one actually slips. Alright. You know what? I'm feeling salty, so I'm going to ask, do they fall in the hole? I think that's likely. That's where they're trying to go. So yeah, they do. Just barely, though. So I was saying it's like at least 20 feet. Alright, so one of them's going to take... one of them's going to take 5 points of damage. Yeah, that was a totally worthwhile spell. Grease was. Alright, well that's the last one in there, and they fall prone, and they're going to have to use the rest of their movement to just get up. Alright, Ott's got one on top of her. She's going to make 2 spear attacks. She's going to hit with both of them. She's using her spear two-handed. Well, not great rolls. That's a total of 8 points of damage. So that's Ott at the bottom. Back up to the top is Inbar. Everybody's got one on top of them, so they can't really do anything with the Pack Lord right now. Probably. Inbar. Can Inbar get close to somebody? Question mark? Probably not. No. So we'll just attack the one in front of her and miss. Dang. Alright, it is Leah's turn. Leah has one of these gnolls right in front of her. She could try to do the grease up there, but I don't know. I think she has other concerns right now. I think she needs to get out from in front of this one that's on top of her, so I think she is going to burn a 2nd level spell, and she's going to do just a magic missile on this one that's in front of her, that's bearing down on her. Alright, for 11 points of damage. Not the greatest in the world, but... So that's what she'll do. She's hoping to try to get away from this one so she can cast some more spells. She's not going to be very successful with that in melee, while she's engaged in melee combat. That was her. She doesn't really have any bonus action stuff that she can do. Ooh, she does have Igni. And she does have a bonus action. Igni's thing is not going to be enough. Yeah, Igni's going to fly up. Up through the hole, I think. So he's definitely going to take an opportunity attack. Which is actually going to miss him, surprisingly. Even though he only has AC 13, that's a 12. So he's going to zip up through the hole, and he's going to use his very special fire breath on our lord up there. So they need to make a dexterity saving throw. Which they're going to fail. So they're going to take the 2d6 fire. And then I'm going to give them another 2d6 from the grease. Or I'm going to give them an extra d6 and then ongoing d6 as long as while they're in the grease, basically. Alright, so it's going to take 7 points of fire damage on that Pack Lord, and they are getting fired up. So lights that entire area on top into flames. Thick, choking smoke. Alright, 7. And then he's going to fire to grease. That he's going to have to deal with. And we've done this before, so we know that this works pretty well. And that one's going to zip sort of out of range. Igni's pretty he can fly, so he's going to stay sort of out of melee combat with anybody. Probably goes back down within the fountain room, just towards the ceiling, so they're kind of out of combat because they're not really hardy enough for combat. That's going to be Leah, so it's going to be Delg. Delg's got one right on top of him. He's going to take out his spear and try to attack that one. And roll a natural one. Great job, Delg. The Pack Lord. Pack Lord is going to take some damage. Immediately take some fire damage. Ooh, ouch. The grease spell. Yeah, I think with the flames and the smoke that comes with something like a grease fire, there's no way he's staying up there. He's going to try to jump down. So he still needs to make the acrobatics check because there is still grease, but I'm going to give him advantage on it. So he'll pass it. That's a 14, and that beats Leah's DC. And he's going to jump on the rope. The question I have is is the rope going to snap because it's on fire? No, the rope holds hardy. And the Pack Lord's going to zip down to the bottom. And then is going to turn around, and he's going to use his Incite Rampage to get that one that's on Leah to make an attack. They're barking at him in Gnollish right there. They're sort of just barking back and forth and yips and growls and stuff. So that one's going to take an attack on Leah. It's 14, which is actually not going to hit her. She has a 15 AC with her mage armor. So nice. All right, that means it's just the regular Gnoll's turn. All right, there is the Gnoll that fell. They're going to get up and attack somebody. Leah. Okay, so they're gonna swarm, so it's gonna move in to get advantage with a spear attack. Which is not gonna hit. They gotta roll at least 11 to hit her. Even with advantage, doesn't hit. So Leah's getting swarmed. She's not in a good position. Everybody else is gonna get an attack. Imbar's gonna get an attack. Definitely gonna hit Imbar though. Ooh, for 7 points of damage. Ow. Alright, so that one hurts. Against Leah, has advantage now. Gonna hit. Ouch. Also for another 7 points of damage. So this is not going to be a good fight for us. We got swarmed. We're not in a good position. Things can go really badly right now. Against Delg. Gonna hit Delg. Delg's gonna take 6 points of damage. He's down to 14 hit points. And then, of course, there's gonna be 1 on Ott, which is gonna miss. Alright, so that's our Gnolls. Down to the bottom is Ott. We've got some pretty tactical people in combat tactical people in here. We've got Ott and we've got Imbar. Both of those are pretty smart people. I'm going to give Ott a wisdom save, I feel like. Natural 20. So she knows that toe-to-toe, this is not going to be a good position for us. We are outnumbered. They're tough enemies. They have each of us engaged in a different way because they kind of ambushed us. So this is not good for us. And she's going to call for a retreat into the tunnel because they know that the tunnel tactic works as a choke point. So she's going to call for a retreat into the tunnel. And she is going to make an attack, or a couple of attacks. Gosh dang it, and miss with both of them. And then she's going to use her disengage action to get into the tunnel, which is the way that we got into this area the first time. Where there's only enough room for one person to go through. It's a very tight passage. If they get if they can get Imbar in the front and use the dodge action, they know that they can make this much easier on themselves. So Ott's going to move back into that tunnel. Imbar hears that. Imbar doesn't have that cunning action, so Imbar's going to have to use her actual action to disengage, and she's going to move back into the tunnel and post up with the shield and let other people get behind her. That's unfortunately how she has to spend her entire turn. Leah's going to hear the call. Leah's going to disengage and run back as well. She'll run back with Ott behind Imbar, who's holding up the tunnel at the choke point. And Delg can disengage, because he does have his cunning action, so he'll at least try to get a stab in with his spear. Nah, that's 10. And then he moves into the back as well. Alright, so now everybody's back into the tunnel. We've removed ourselves out of this room thanks to some disengage actions, and we're going to reset the narrative of this fight, where we can have ourselves a little choke point. They're probably going to push, because they are way on top of us. Let's give him another dexterity saving throw. That's 13, meets it, beats it. Alright, so we're going to say that our Pack Lord is no longer on fire. So he's not going to take any damage this time. But I do think that he's going to run in immediately. I think he's going to lead from the front and charge in immediately on Imbar. He's going to use his glaive. That's what he's got. He's going to make 2 glaive attacks. Going to run in. He has +5 to hit with those glaive attacks against Imbar. And then just slams. It's a big weapon. They're trying to fight in this tiny tunnel, and you can just hear this metal scraping around the stones as it bashes off the stones, or bashes off of Imbar's shield as she holds it up to defend everybody. So the Pack Lord, somewhat neutralized. Can't really use his reaction to do anything. His bonus action to do anything. It is the Gnoll's turn. There's only room in there for the Pack Lords. The rest of them are just going to take sort of pot shots. Pretty much an Imbar in the front. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So we'll get 5 attacks. That's 6. Alright. What do they have +2 with their bows? So they drop their spears. They're pulling out their bows. They only have a +3. Alright. So that 17 will hit. That's the only one that hits, though. With their longbow. 1d8 +2. Ooh, 8 points of damage. Ow. So Imbar doesn't look great. It's not looking great. Guys, I don't feel so well, Mr. Stark. It does not look. This is gone from bad to worse. Ooh. Alright, at least only one hit. That's a good thing we came back in the tunnel, because this would have been... That's the only thing that saved us. Or technically is saving us, because we might not be saved. We certainly aren't saved yet. Alright, those are Gnolls. It's Ott's turn. Ott drops her spear and pulls out her bow. Going against the Pack Lord in the front, because that's really the only person she can see. That Pack Lord fills the tunnel. She will make her 2 attacks on it. She has a bone +5? Yeah, +5. Does a 16 hit this thing? Yes, okay. So she's going to hit with 1. For 4 points of damage. Oop. So it's chip damage. We really need some stronger attacks than that, but that's where we are right now. That's what we got to do. Alright, Imbar. Imbar is going to second wind, first and foremost. Okay, good. It's that plus her level, so she gets 11 hit points back. She sort of collects herself. And she goes back up to 28 hit points. So she goes back up to 28 hit points, and she's going to use, as her action, the dodge action. She's going to use the dodge action, so she's just going to do... We did this the first time we had a fight in this room with the Gnolls in the last session. Is that we stuck in the tunnel. She used the dodge action. She just tried to turtle up and try to deflect all the damage and let her allies behind her with range just sort of rip through the room as best as they can. So that's what she's going to do. It's not exciting fighting for Imbar, but it is good for Imbar. It is the best optimal probably tactical play to do. So that's what she does. Leah is gonna... There are a bunch of people in here. Cause a bunch of ruckus. We are a long way from this fight being over. Everybody's in this room. I think she kind of looks around. She kind of looks at everybody. Everybody's pretty toasted. There's nobody who's not hurt at this point. Yeah, everybody's down some. Some people more than others. Doug's hurt pretty bad still, and he can't heal himself. So I think she kind of looks around at the situation, and she's like, I really wanted to save it, but fuck it. And she pulls out the scroll and casts Fireball in the room with all the Gnolls. She's absolutely going to be able to hit every Gnoll that's in there. What is... Well, I didn't know what it was, so I'm just going to use... It's scroll, so I don't really know what the DC is, so I'm just going to say the DC is the room DC, which is 17. So, that's the save. Pack Lord, fail. We've got 5 Gnolls. 2 passes. Alright, everybody else is taking 8d6 fire damage. They're going to take 4d6. At 32 points of fire damage. Bye, Pack Lord. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye. And that's 16. This guy has 1 hit point left. So, she pulls out her scroll and casts ye old nuke, and that the room explodes with fire. There's a chimney of flame that bursts up through the hole that's in the top of that lines the street above, with flames across the ruined buildings. I mean, that place was already the slow fire of what was left of the grease spell was still sort of crackling, and this pillar of fire just shoots up through the middle of it. Uh, and yeah, so Leah no longer has a fireball scroll. I really wanted to save that, but it was going to be a tough fight. I think it's a good use of it. And, it does what it says it's going to do. It absolutely took away that encounter, pretty much. There's Delg. Delg can't talk to this thing we are fighting. He sees twitching movement in the darkness after his eyes are adjusting. He'll miss, of course, because of course he will. That Gnoll will make a morale check. I think they're gonna make that with kind of disadvantage. I don't think they have an 11 charisma, anyways. They do not. So the question is, this thing's gonna. Can this thing run away? Because it is so hurt. Oh yeah, it can. All right, so it's it starts booking it. There's the way that we are, which is towards the exit. There is the room that Gnoll probably knows is a dead end. Does it go that way? I think that's extremely unlikely. Okay, it turns and it books down the hallway that we came from previously into the reverse gravity chasm room that's been destroyed, which we know is a dead end. So, yeah, I think I'm not even going to play it out. Everybody's going to get a pot shot. We're going to kill that last Gnoll. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They don't have anywhere to go. They're either going to fall down that chasm or we're going to murder them. We just have to get one hit on them. So, yeah, that's done. Those guys are all done. So now we are up to... We had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so we have 9 things of treasure that we need to roll for. And we are absolutely gonna take a short rest. Does anything show up on the short rest? No, but technically we have one last one that we need to roll with disadvantage. No. Okay. So we take a short rest. And we need to do some house cleaning. We need to do a little bit of house cleaning, but we're not going to get interrupted. So let's do arrows for Imbar. Good. Arrows for Leah. No, and Leah. Ott. So Ott's down on her arrows. Not great. Well, these guys all have longbows as well. I should have probably rolled that with advantage, because she couldn't... Okay, yeah, I'll give her the advantage. Because she's a Gnoll with a Gnoll bow, longbow, fighting other Gnolls, a big group of Gnolls also with longbows, so she could probably find some arrows more than just a normally trying to retrieve her arrows. I'm feel okay with that. Even though that might be a little scorched, we'll hand wave it a little bit. We've got a lot of this dungeon to go that she can find some arrows, I feel like, at this point. Alright. So we did that. Do we need to do... I think that's all. I don't think we really need to do any other catch-ups. Let's do our... Everybody spend some hit dice. So, we're running out of hit dice. So we may have to make... At this point, we may have to actually retreat out of the dungeon. Which is a good spot, because we're pretty close to the entrance. So I think at this point we're gonna have to run. Like, I don't think we can maybe go back to the anti-gravity room and try and take a long rest. Maybe we do. Let's do our short rest first, and then maybe we'll try to go back and take a long... That sounds weird that we're gonna take a short rest, but we have to... There's a chance we're gonna get into a fight. We can either leave the dungeon or try to find a safe place to hole up to take a long rest, which would be that room, but that's a dead end, and there's always, it's not a good situation. We really don't want to box ourselves into a hole, and we can't probably hide anymore. We've got such a large trail of bodies at this point of people who've gone missing. Like, this room has already had one Gnoll fight in it. So there's like almost 20 corpses in this room between hyena and Gnolls. So I mean, like, people know that a lot of people got killed here. And a lot of those bodies are still actively on fire right now. The fat hissing, popping from their dead bodies, and that terrible smell of burned fur. But yeah, I think we may have to leave. I don't think we can go any further, unfortunately. It's not what I want to do. I really wanted to try to do this whole dungeon in one push, but we're burning through hit dice. Delg's out of hit dice, basically. And that stops our ability from healing in between encounters. And we don't have anybody who's a good enough healer, like a cleric or a druid, to push that. So I think we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to get yeah, we'll do the loot for sure, but we're gonna have to do a tactical retreat. I don't think we can stay in this dungeon. This is a hard challenge for our group. So we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to rest back and then come back, I think. So that's the plan. But let's spend our hit dice real quick because we might get into another fight. So I want to do that first. Well, all right. So 7, 8, 9. So only gets 9 hit points back. Gets to 23, and Delg is officially out of hit dice, but can heal himself again. I don't think we want to do that yet, but can heal himself again. She's down. Let's see. She'll spend a D8 first. All right, that'll give her 5 hit points. I'll put her up to 33. Do we want to spend another for Imbar? She is also going to... She'll get her second win back. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if we spend another one for her. And I think we probably should. There's 6? Oh, sorry, I should have rolled a d10. Let's see if I roll any higher than that. Oh, no, I rolled the maximum. Okay, never mind. So we'll add another 7 to that. Which will just take her all the way back up. Oh, no, it is D8. Sorry, I'm thinking fighter. She's not a fighter. She's a warrior. It's different. Yeah, she'll spend the extra hit die. Yeah, get the extra 5. So up to 38. But also looking real bad on those hit dice. This may be beyond our ken. This dungeon may be beyond our ken. It's very hard. Alright. She will heal back from that. She'll start spending some hit dice for us. Alright, so she's going to get 6 back. And then, yeah, I think we'll spend one more. We'll get her tapped up. Yeah, alright. So, Odd, back to full. Odd, surprisingly doing pretty well in this dungeon. Usually she's the one that's getting pincushioned most of the time. But she's had a pretty good go of it this time. It's just everybody else has suffered for her success. And Leah will spend a hit die, sure. 5, 6, 7, all the way back up to full. Alright. Oh, yeah, she could have done Arcane Recovery. I didn't think about that. So she can get half her level in spots, so she can get 2. She can get 2 first levels back. Those 2 first levels back are her second level back. She still has 2 second levels, so I think she's going to do that. I think she's going to get 2 first levels spells back with her Arcane Recovery as a wizard. As she goes back over through her book, looking at her spells and refreshing her memory on them. She feels invigorated, soaking in sort of that ambient mana, that energy of the world, pulling it in that she can use as part of the weave for herself. Alright, so everybody, we finished our short rest in the process, so that way we could get out of this dungeon and take a long rest, which is going to be best for us because we don't really have a great place to hide here. So we may have to come in from a different angle. We might have to enter the dungeon from a different area next time. All right. So I said we were going to roll some treasure. So I had it backed away from my game yesterday. I handed in the DM binder. Let's go ahead and roll over that. I mean, yeah, I still need some of it, but it's like some of it's in the other sheet. I forgot. We can look at that part, I guess, and then I'll just hop over here if needed. That will also work. All right, so we got a bunch of treasure that we got to figure out, and let's just make this nice and easy. I do believe there's a treasure section, right? Didn't I put a treasure section here? Maybe I forgot to put a treasure section, or I may have moved it. Oh, nope, treasure notes. There we go. Alright, let's go with Oasis. And we know what's going on in here, so we're just going to do these rolls first, and then we'll figure out what's going into them. So we rolled 12 for our first thing. Let's get a trade good. So 1 trade good. 2 trade goods. 2 trade goods. Currency. Let's go trade. Trade. Currency. What else we got? Pocket contents. I think that is also currency. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure A17 is currency. Yeah, we're using this line right here, in case you're wondering. Pocket contents. Pocket contents. Pocket contents. So, as you might expect, they don't have a ton of stuff on them. Where am I at? Have I done too many? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, I need one more. And 13, which is trade good. Okay. I'll just make it easy by doing it this way. So this would be a trade, and we won't worry about this. That'll make it nice and easy while we go down the list. Alright, let's go down to our trade items first. Alright, so we got some trade items. Let's do for the value. 14. Alright, so 1d50 of... So d50 of... silver. Okay. So, 26 silver worth of... I don't think I've got to have this one in here. Clothing. Alright, so there's some decent clothing in here. It's probably not worth actually picking up. So 2.6. I'll just write it out the other way. Of clothing. So it must not be like super fine clothing because it's not super expensive. But we find some clothing, some bundles of clothing that they've maybe picked off of other people, some scarves and gloves, things of that nature. Maybe a hat, maybe a pair of boots. I don't know what Gnolls would be doing with boots, but maybe there's some boots. All right, let's keep going. Most of this treasure is extremely limited, and every time that I do, and people who've watched this know that most of this is extremely limited, low-level treasure, like to the point where some of this stuff is not even worth actually calculating. We'll find it, but we'll be like, yeah, I'm not gonna carry around a pair of boots with me. I have boots, or I might swap out my boots if they're the right size and in better condition. But otherwise, there's no real need to carry around an extra set of boots, especially if they're not particularly fancy or magical boots. Alright, so we rolled, alright, so another D50. D50 silver again. Alright. 46 silver worth of... Ooh, narcotics. So that could be anything from tobacco, opium. It could be any number of things. Again, not a lot of it, so it's sort of somebody's like little snuff box or something like that. It's not like we found kilos of coke or anything like that. And we got one more. 7. 10. So, this one's going to be worth 20 in silver. What could it be? What could it be? Alright, something worth 10 silver. 10 silver's worth of bone, horn, or pelts. Let's go with pelts. So, 3 silver worth of pelts. So, yeah. Pelt scraps. Yeah, most of these are probably, let's say it's bone scraps. And we just have 2 things of straightforward currency. So we just do the same thing. We just kind of go, all right. So we've got 11, so 1d20 copper. Oh, good. So we found 5 copper. Good to know. Don't have a lot of money on them. And a d20 of silver. Alright. 13 silver and 5 copper. So, again, just kind of walking around money. Not these people aren't loaded down with lots of expensive jewels or anything like that. So I'll just collapse these. So it was 15 silver, right, and 5 copper. I think is what I said. If not, it's going to be close. And we have some pocket contents. Pocket contents are a little bit different. Pocket contents can be both very high value or very low value, kind of depending on what you roll. So, but this is more just sort of random stuff they have in their pockets. 54. Go down here. 54 is up. Oh, somebody's got a purse of 6G. Alright, so that's where the real money was, so 6G. Three and 2. Find some food on them. What kind of food would they have? I think it's probably like chickpeas or something like that. If we were down in rations, I'd let us maybe see if we can resupply our rations with that. Let's say, so, a pouch dried chickpeas of basically no real value. Except for finding food if we needed food, but we don't, so far. 41. Somebody's got a flask. Let's ask the question. Does it have anything in it? I mean, probably. Yeah, okay. Something quite fine, I think. Flask, let's say a full flask. Let's double down. Full flask of fine brandy. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, sure. That'll be nice. We'll probably use most of that during our short rest, I think. I think we could use it after our escapades so far in the day. Everybody sits around, takes a few pulls on that flask, probably drinks most of it. And I guess we should ask a flask might have some inherent value to it. Could be silver, could be anything. So let's find out. Ooh, 19. Alright, so let's say 19. So D100 of gold. Wow. This might be a very expensive flask. Yeah, okay. The flask itself. Let's say 65G. So this is like it must be have a nice piece of maybe it's got some gems in there. It's got a really nice filigree. It's probably got gold on it, gold and silver, maybe some electrum. So it's very like finely crafted. It's clearly a very expensive thing, and like clearly this Gnoll found it somewhere. This is probably, I'm gonna guess this was probably off the Pack Lord. So it's like their one little piece of flair that they have. And our last thing of pocket content, 65. Didn't I just roll 65? No. A map or itinerary. Okay, let's ask a question. Is it the dungeon map? Question mark. Probably not. Probably not. So -3. Is it a map of the dungeon? Answer still yes. Even with our -3, it gets down to 14. So that's still a yes. Is it a full map of the dungeon? I think that's extremely unlikely. -5. No. Okay. So, but it does have some rooms in it. So maybe, I don't know, like a D6 of rooms? So here's another question. Are any of the rooms recognizable to places we've already been? I think that's pretty likely considering they're here. So +3. Yes. Okay. How many? So we know of 3 rooms so far. So we've done room 1, room 2, and room 3, or room 4 technically. So how many of those rooms are on it? Just one. Okay, so just one of the rooms are on it. So it must be this room, because it has to connect to other things that we don't know about. Alright, so, well, that's going to give us a little bit of information. So that's actually... so one of those rooms... What's the... Oh, it's in room. Alright, with, rooms. 1 is the fountain room. And 4 are unexplored rooms. So this is, so at least, maybe if we get this, we might be able to look at it. It can tell us, potentially, whether or not there might be a nicer place for us to find a cubby where maybe we can rest or something like that further on ahead, so that way we don't actually have to leave the dungeon. That would be really, really nice. I think that's unlikely, but it is potential. But rather than asking an oracle question about that, I just want to, let's just map sort of what the next rooms are going to be. So we know the next room is 3. So we have finished looking at our stuff, and we're just taking a look at the map real quick. So we know that 2's on there, which is the room we're in right now. The very gross Gnoll latrine underground fountain room that's now just has a whole bunch of corpses in it. So let's just go through our dungeon and let's build out at least in the next few rooms. We can figure out what these rooms are as we look at it before we explore any further. And this is going to take time for us out of character, but probably wouldn't take much time in character. Like, even if it's written in Gnoll, even if it's Gnoll's scratchings, Ott can read those, so we don't have to worry about like translation or anything like that. So we have the ability to read it if for some reason they're not in common. Alright, what's the size of this room? Small. Another small room. And what's the thing? Oh, sorry, we're doing D6 for the theme, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so more Gnolls. That's another small room. Little theme. And then what is actually in here? So I like, let's roll 2d20. I'll choose one I like or push them together if I want. Let's go up a little bit. Find out about our room. Alright, so we rolled an 8 and 11. So a crypt and a knowledge area. Okay, so I think this is like a crypt and knowledge area, so I think this is like a morgue area, a place where they were doing sort of like autopsies and vivisections, dissections, those sorts of things. So that's a sort of weird medical area where they were trying to figure out what the magical effects of this water was doing on people. So yeah, okay. So this is sort of a vivisection or dissection room. And what's the DC for this room? We won't be able to tell that by the map, but... Oh no, I rolled high. That's not good. It's still 16. That's not too bad. Okay. I catastrophized that one. And as some sort of details, kind of what's going on in this room. So 4. Evidency of occupancy or passage. Yeah, for sure. And for a minor or utility magical effect. So I think this is probably a room that has magical lights in it, because that's going to be... You're going to definitely need plenty of lights on it if you're doing some sort of like surgical things, doing investigations of that sort. And then it seems like there's probably gnolls have been using this also as a camp. So maybe this is a so magical lights, and there's also going to have well, I was just assuming gnoll. Is it gnoll occupancy? I think it's highly likely, +5. No, okay, so it's somebody else on the theme. Oh. Foreign faction. So we've come across where they looks like they're making, maybe this is sort of like the command center for them. They've taken this over as sort of their command center. Yeah, their base may also be on it, and yeah, we're gonna find out what's in the rest of these rooms real quick. But okay, so yeah, I mean, just as you were saying, Chad, it does appear like we're gonna find, well, it's probably sort of like, I'm gonna say command room, and that's more of a question for us. We'll figure that out when we get there, which is gonna be the next room. But so we're pretty sure they're here because we met the sort of hangers on those bandits from earlier. So we're pretty sure they're here. The foreign faction's already here. I'm not sure if we're beefed up enough for that fight, because that's probably going to be one of the more climactic fights, sort of in here as we try to figure that out. So, we'll see. And 2d6, let's figure out what's actually in this room. 5 and a 1. Okay. So, there's just a creature in it. Or creatures. So, that's actually not too bad for us. No problem. And then we could do some doorways. One, two, three. So it's gonna have. Sorry. I know. I know I talked about this on the last stream, but like I really wanted an option to do sort of a digital map. I just don't. All the options I was looking at it for the dungeon just were more cumbersome than they were going to be illustrative, I feel like. So unfortunately, I'm just kind of doing it by hand. And we're just gonna have to deal with that. Sorry guys, you don't get to see it. It's not that impressive. It's just lines on a page. It's just sort of like a mind map kind of looking thing. Command? Question mark? Alright, so they are gonna get a off to the right. And we're gonna make that room 5. Okay. So we have an exit to the right. And another that goes down, so it must go down in a different section. And we'll make that room 6. So we said there were 5 on there, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's potentially one more room that we know of on this room. 2. That's technically straight ahead. 7. We'll roll again, but actually we don't need to roll again. And then we're going to see if there are any, if they note at least any secrets or exits. So to the left, no. Behind us, no, and above us, no. All right. So no secrets or exits. We would have to find them, but we just know right off bat there are. And I don't think we're going to know what the doorways are yet, as far as like what they're made of, but we will have the doors. So we have straight, we have right, and we have down. Actually, we've basically got two downs, because one's going to come back from the way that we would end up moving that way, and then there's got to be some break off somewhere, and it goes in a different direction. Which actually is probably better. I'm just going to do that and just be like, this is nothing. So there's going to be a fork in the path if we move to room 3 towards that vivisection, essentially command room. There's a passageway that splits off that'll take us to 6. All right, 7, 5, or 6. Which one are we going to look at next? I guess we'll look at 6. Or so we have a 5, which is question marks. 6, which is question marks. And we have 7, which is what we're going to look at first. So that's on the map. So 3's on the map, 7's on the map, 2's on the map. Do we just want to say that that would put us at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically all of them are there. Are these all the ones that we know about? No, okay. Well, it's gotta be. Because otherwise we wouldn't know the map. That was a dumb question. Alright, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're just gonna detail what these maps are. What these rooms are real quick. So I can set this aside for right now. We'll do this, and then that's probably going to be end up where we call it. We'll just need to make a decision whether we're going to continue on, or if we're going to try to get out of here. I think we're probably going to have to try to get out of here, because the next room that we want to move to is 3, unless we could always go down to 6. Maybe that'll be better for us. But room 3 seems like maybe a command area. That may be a tough thing. So we might not want to do that. Alright, let's just go down the roll here. Small. And this is just the size of the rooms. For small room, it basically means that, and this last one's large. It basically means that you can get across the room in a 30-foot move. In a medium room, it takes about 60 feet to get across, and in a large room, it's about 120 feet across. So it also gives you an idea of like ranged weaponry, what's going to be useful in ranged spells, what's going to be useful, and what sort of rooms and what rooms you're going to have to move around in to be able to target things. Alright, so 5 and 6 are going to have orcs. I guess that makes sense. That's why we ran to the orc patrol earlier. So we have a good idea of where they are. And you never know, if we did run up to 3, that vivisection dissection room, that could be where our buzzard friends are at. They could be up there sniffing around if they're not engaging with the foreign faction, or the foreign faction's not there. We just know it's kind of probably their area. We don't know exactly who's there and what they're doing. Certainly not from this little map. This like hand-drawn map is telling us where to go. All right, so let's see. Let's determine what these things are. First one, 15 and 14. What type of room are these? All right, recreation area, religious area. What would we find? Yeah, so I think it's very much sort of like a temple area. a house, like a house of learning, not quite a mosque, not quite a house of learning, not quite a temple. Kind of something that kind of fits into all of those. Or let's say a temple library. Or a scriptorium. Scriptorium is more fun. Which is a library, but for scrolls. and for copying scrolls. Is for copying. Alright, what's in the room number 6? 13-8. Alright, another crypt. Private suite. A private crypt. We could either make it like a private research area, but we've already got a couple of research areas in here. So maybe this is sort of, yeah, I mean, it could just be, it's literally like a family mausoleum. It's like ancient family mausoleum. Oh, we didn't determine how well they're doing. We'll figure that out, because I didn't do that for 3 either. That's fine. The general room aesthetic has been... I guess I didn't put it in here, so we'll just have to go with what I remember. So we'll just make it a 50-50. We'll just roll for... I think that might have been what I ended up with. I'm getting ahead of myself. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going. And then let's roll for number 7. We'll fix that here in just a second. 4 and 10. Audience chamber. And a food area. Okay, so this is sort of like a main hall, I think. And now we need to determine, you know, what state are these things in? This one's in real bad shape. So this is going to be actually a destroyed vivisection dissection room. So it's in real bad states. So down here, our temple scriptorium is going to be, let's say, dilapidated. So kind of falling apart. Not in terrible disarray though. Alright, this one's in, let's say patched, or let's say worn. Worn's a better term. Or worn ancient family mausoleum. So it's clearly not in the absolutely new, but it's not. It seems to be in good working order. And our last one, oh, is pristine. So it's in sort of the main hall for whatever reason is in great shape. So that just helps us know when we're looking for those qualifiers, like is it crumbling or falling apart, is it in good condition. That tells us whether if we're going to roll for hazards or obstacles or tricks and traps that are active in those areas. It's just a slight difference. It's just helpful for me to know. Yeah, we did those rooms. Technically I don't think we know what was in these rooms, and we don't know what leads out of these rooms. So I think we're good with that. Now, if we can make it to 5 would be great. I think a temple scriptorium is a really great place to probably hole up, as would be a family mausoleum. Definitely not the main hall. So the ancient family mausoleum, we're very close to that. We could try to make it there. We could try to make it there and make a rest there, and then at least we wouldn't be around all these bodies. Because if we keep hanging out in this area, we're going to keep getting attacked. We haven't moved enough geographically in the ruined city to kind of lose anybody who's trying to patrol and find us, because they definitely know that we're here. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think if we can rest in the dungeon, that will be best. A mausoleum, somebody's probably not going to be looking for us in there. It should be pretty well built, but we need to rest. Because we are low on hit points, but we're especially low on hit dice, and the only way to get back our hit dice is by resting. And that's dangerous, but it is what we got to do. Alright, but we've picked up all our stuff. We know that we got our short rest done. We can move down this passage and take a fork that'll take us to 6, which is the Warden family mausoleum. which may or may not be where those orcs ran off to. So I think that's our best guess. I think that's our best plan of action, is to go check that out and hope that there's a place to wear down. Because even if we have to fight ourselves out of here, we're going to have to fight through... We're going to have to make at least a number of checks to get through here. Just as many checks as it would take us probably to get further into the mausoleum. So I think let's go towards the mausoleum and hope for the best. Leah is pretty open with her spells. She's only one spell down because of her arcane recovery. So if we need to, she can really get loose with her spell resources and try to just rip through combats, be a little bit more effective in combat rather than just use her cantrips. Not that she has the greatest combat spells in the world. She's not that kind of wizard. Alright, so we're going to charge ahead. We no longer have disadvantage on these checks to see if we come across wandering monsters. We're going to have to go down basically 2 passages, though. The dice gods shine on us. There are no wandering monsters or hazards or obstacles of any sort as we head through these passages. So we do a great job. I think we're doing everything we need to do. Ott's doing her stealth thing. She's scouting out in front. Everybody else is sort of hanging back. We definitely have Imbar in the very back because she's the loudest in her plate armor now. There's nobody coming across in the hallways at this point, so we don't even have to worry about a stealth check that much. It's now as we're sort of sneaking up, and Ott's gonna get up here, and she's gonna make a check on 6 because that's the room we're going to. So she's gonna creep up there, and she's gonna make herself a little perception check while she's sneaking. These dice, they're killing me. They may kill us. That's not great. Alright, well, we saw a whole lot of nothing. I know that the room DC is not going to be 1. It wasn't even high. It's DC. It's a DC 11. It's not even a difficult one. It's unfortunate. Okay. Well, she goes up there and she doesn't really see anything, I guess. That's good. Let's ask, does she at least see the dressing in the room? Yes? Okay, alright, let's at least roll for the dungeon dressing, I guess. 4 and 3. So, worn. Oh, we got the remains and the minor utility magical effects. Alright, so there's definitely... There are entombed bodies here. And what sort of magical effect should we have? Is it... Usually I think of these as like sensory. It could be like music or smell or something like that. Let's just ask. Is it sensory? Yes. Oh, it's a lot of sensory stuff. So they're minor effects, but it's very sensory. So I think there's sort of like a calming music to it, or sort of like ambient sound. Not quite like a white or pink noise kind of feeling, but it is sort of like a calming background sound. And it may just actually, that's probably what it is. It's probably the sound of like a babbling brook, like a very sort of like running water river sound, very very calming nature sound. And I think there's a eternal smell of incense that burns here. Some things of that nature, and I think there's probably some ambient light in here as well. So it does have this sort of feel to it. This very sort of calming kind of sensation to it. Now it makes maybe more sense like why I couldn't find anything in here, because there's some sound and smells that are kind of clogging up her senses in sort of like an ambient light. So she doesn't really find anything. She kind of comes back and gets the rest of the party. Well, I don't see anything. We should go ahead and go in. Alright, and they head in, and I absolutely flubbed our perception check, so whatever's in there is whatever's in there. We're just gonna walk right into it, basically. So let's find out what's actually in there. Okay, so 4 and 2. Alright, so there's some sort of hazard, there's some sort of hot, And some sort of treasure. Actually, there's going to be a treasure times 2. Nice. That means that it's guaranteed that there's going to be some sort of magic item in here. Very nice. Makes sense. But more importantly, there are no people in here. There are no creatures in here. So this is giving us a good idea as to maybe this is a nice place where we're going to... It's a warm family mausoleum, so I assume there's like a... I guess, let's ask. It's not really an oracle question. We can just ask for the doorways. what? Give me a type. I'll roll 2 types and see which one I like better. 2 and 5. So there's either just a basic opening or a reinforced door. I'm going to go with reinforced door. We're going to just have probably an open doorway into a mausoleum. So there's a heavily reinforced door. And let's just confirm. For the hut. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Alright, so it's definitely a track or trip. A trap or trick in here. It's definitely not a hazard. Oh, there's probably going to be some sort of trap in here. It's got a heavily reinforced door. What's the status of this door? As we investigate it. Status of the door is 3. It's locked. Is it magically locked? No. Do we... I can't remember. Does Ott actually have thieves' tools? She does indeed. Okay. So Leah will cast guidance on her, because she can't really help. Yeah. We don't even look... That's easily, what, like 23 or something like that. It's the DC's 11, so she very easily opens up the door. So the door itself is not trapped, and it kind of peeks in, and we hear, then we get the full brunt of that sound of running water. That cloying smell of incense kind of fills the nose. This ambient light that's sort of like spilling out. I assume that there were like some small, very small, maybe like stained glass windows or something that Ott was trying to look through, and she couldn't really see through it, but she could definitely tell there was light coming from inside there. And it is sort of this sanctum. It's here. And there's lots of like orc tracks and things like that sort of around the mausoleum, but I don't think that we see any inside. If there's a locked door, they probably haven't gone in here. I mean, I guess we should ask that. Do we see any signs of orc occupation? I think that's extremely unlikely since the door was locked. Yeah, no. This looks otherwise pretty much untouched in here. Either they didn't recognize what this room was and that something interesting might be in it or worthwhile, or they've just been busy and they haven't messed with it yet. Well, what do we think? Should we go in? I think Leah's just kind of peering around with everybody else, sort of like into the ambient room. It does look somewhat inviting, and that makes me feel danger, not reassurance. Well, I suppose I'll go first. Is Ott gonna stop her and go first? We'll just ask a question. I don't think so, though. Nope. Ott's like, nah, I'm good. I'll let Leah go first. Leah will use her investigation skill. She's gonna look around. I think she gets the feeling places like this are usually trapped. So she's going to use her investigation, kind of have a look over to see if anything like this is trapped, because it's in such good condition, hasn't been messed with. That makes her think that there's probably some sort of defensive capabilities to it. I think that's a pretty obvious assumption. She's a smart cookie. I feel pretty good about that. So she's going to guidance herself, and she's going to have help. I guess technically Ott's there. Ott will kind of give her a hand to look at something, I guess. Yeah, okay, so 22 before I even start adding bonuses. So, yeah, I think she's definitely going to she's certainly going to see the trap. And so let's figure out what the trap is. So the trap trigger is it's got a time delay on it. So a pressure or touch plate with a time delay on it. And what does this thing do? 2. detainment, or a control panel. Ooh, I think maybe there's a power. So everything that we've come across so far, as far as the arcane research facility is concerned, has been powered off. So maybe there's some sort of magical electrical power for this dungeon, and that control panel might be in here. But that it also seems to have a detainment, so it's pretty easy. Like, as they're looking around, she looks at the back side of the door, and she can see there's a spot where, like, a grate is supposed to come down that's supposed to, like, lock somebody in here if they mess around the wrong way. And it does look like... Okay, let's roll. Is it going to be a pressure or a touch? It's going to be a touch. Okay. So the trap is... They feel like if they go in and they mess with that control panel, that might turn on some form of power to the rest of this dungeon. If they mess with that, or maybe if they mess with other things too. If they maybe mess with anything in here, it's a detainment trap, and it's going to try to trap them in this room. The grate's going to come down on the door behind them, and it's going to try to trap them in this room, and you know, they'll just die in here, or if somebody ever comes and finds them. Okay. And I think that investigation is enough that she's going to probably find the treasure that's in here. She's probably going to find the treasure that's in here. Because she rolled so well in her investigation. Okay. Do we want to turn the power back on? We don't know if that's useful for us or not. It might freak everybody out, but maybe that's something we do after we take a long rest, because we also don't want people to come searching around if we keep messing with the place. Because right now, people in the dungeon are looking for us. This seems to be a place that they haven't messed with, so if we can get in here and just kind of hunker down and use this as a bunkhouse for a long rest, I think there's a chance that we can get through a long rest in here. As long as we don't mess around with anything that's in here. But whatever that... It's going to depend a lot on whatever that magic item is. Let me see, or whatever the treasure is in this room. Because our greedy little fingers are going to want to get those treasures. But then, once we finish our long rest, then maybe we try to figure out the panel trap. I think I'm good with that. I think we're going to take the rest first, and see if we can make it through the rest. But as we go in there, let's find out what the treasure is. So the treasure is definitely magical. We know that. So we're looking at the potency here. Hey, we rolled a 19 or a 20. That means it's a permanent item. There's a permanent magic item that's in here. That's very nice. Oh, and we rolled very high. So it's an uncommon one. Yeah, unfortunately we're not higher than that. If we had been here, we could have gotten a rare item, but we're not high enough level for a rare item yet. So it's just an uncommon item. So we need a rarity uncommon, a type. That'll include armors. That'll include rings. Technically rods. Could be staffs. Probably not wands. Wands come with charges. Most of the time. Yeah. It's gonna be a permanent item. And some of the rest. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we got 6 different things it could be. Let's just roll a d6. For the type, 2. Which makes it a ring. Okay. I don't know. Are there any uncommon rings? I just wrote myself into a corner there. Oh, there are. There's a ring. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ring of mind shielding, swimming, or water walking seems pretty good. We know that there's a lot of water search. Maybe a ring of swimming. That seems pretty cool. I don't know when we'd use it, but sure. Yeah, why not? Let's roll a d6 and we'll figure out what it is. Obviously, it can't be 6. 2. So that was the ring of swimming, right? No, the ring of mind shielding. You're immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts, determine whether you are lying, know your alignment, or know your creature type. Use an action to cause the ring to become invisible. As long as your soul is in the ring, you can telepathically communicate with any creature wearing it. A wearer can't prevent this telepathic communication. Okay. Here's the thing, is that... Alright, so we found this ring. Because this could be very important. Does Leah recognize... I'm going to give her an Arcana check. Again, the DC for this room is not very high. And she will guidance herself, but nobody else can help her with this. Yeah, she blows it out of the water. To have a pretty good... So she passed her Arcana check. I think she probably has a pretty good idea of what this is. I think this is probably a pretty common... This is pretty... Not common. It is, in fact, uncommon. But a magic item that is... Like a type of magic item that's pretty well known in certain circles. So let's ask. Does she know what this thing is? I think that's kind of likely. +3. Yeah, okay, so no, that's technically a 20, so yes, she knows specifically that this is the Ring of Mind Shielding. She doesn't need to identify it, because we rolled well enough. And she's like, oh, it's a Ring of Mind Shielding. And I think that she has enough there, she beat the DC by enough, to understand that there could potentially be a soul trapped in there. I'm going to give her another Arcana check to see if she can identify whether there's one in there or not. That's still over the 11 for the room that we're using for the DC. So she is there a soul in there? Considering we're in a mausoleum, I do think that's likely. No. There is not a soul in there. But I rolled really poorly, so maybe... I think this is going to be its own little sort of trap hazard thing. We're just going to roll with it. So I think like Leah says, as she's looking at it, which it's a ring, we're in a mausoleum, it's obviously on a dead body in here. In an entombed dead body, a desiccated sort of mummy-ish corpse in here. It's definitely on that thing. And I think she kind of goes for it, and she kind of goes to remove it. And then I think it's going to, because we know that there's not a soul in there, and we rolled really low, we rolled a natural one, which means it's something even worse than what we thought. Or sort of more extreme answer. So not only is there not a soul in there, it's going to try to rip Leah's soul into that ring. This may be like a Freaky Friday situation. Maybe it needs her energy to, maybe it's going to bring this undead creature to life. I don't know. We're going to find out. And so she's going to have to resist that. That's a soul exchange thing, feels very much like a charisma saving throw to me. So Leah's going to make a charisma saving throw, which we don't make a lot of in D&D. Especially not in 5e. She has +2. She needs to hit an 11, so she needs to roll a 9 or higher. Oh no, she doesn't. She fails. So she goes and she grabs this mummified hand, and she grabs the ring because she knows what the ring is, and as she makes contact with the ring, this may be the detainment trap instead. A different type of detainment trap. We see it sort of suck her life into it. Alright, here's the question. Is like, does it deal damage or does it just pull her into it? I think it just pulls her into it, but let's double check with the Oracle. So +3, does it just pull her soul into it? Yeah. Very much so. It absolutely does that. So we see it, and she touches it, and we see this sort of energy pull from her, and you see her sort of like stumble, like she's woozy, and then she collapses on the ground. Her body collapses on the ground, unconscious. And does our mausoleum person get up? I think that's almost guaranteed. Extremely likely. +5. Oh yeah, gets up and is belligerent. I'm gonna roll a 2d6 for the reaction roll, but take the lower of them. Yeah, 5. Not in a good spot. Like, so pulls in this corpse. Wakes up and sits up and looks at everybody in the room. Everybody in the room is probably freaking out because Leah touched this thing and then just fell to the ground like a sack of potatoes, unconscious. And this undead thing just woke up. Uh, does anybody try to talk to this thing? I don't think so. No. Everybody's like, nope, we're gonna do a fight. It's gonna do it right now. So that's what happens. Leah's soul gets sucked into this ring. This thing gets up. And we're going to go into a combat. But that's going to be next time. We're going to start off with this combat with this mummy lord or whatever the heck this thing is that we just awoken. And before we've had our long rest, remember we're going to have our long rest. Now we know why the orcs don't come in here. Why they leave the door locked. There is a very nasty thing in here. And we are going to have to figure out how to kill it without the help of Leah, probably. Next time. So, again, we do the solo RPG basically every 2 weeks, every other week. So, 1 week we do the solo RPG, and then the next week we usually do some sort of random D&D or Dungeon Master or Game Master topic, talk about kind of the running the game and stuff like that. So, if you're interested in those sorts of things, we have lots of those videos on the channel, so make sure to give them a check out. And we'll definitely come back and do this in about 2 weeks. I'll clean up my notes a little bit, and we'll go from there. Things in this session pretty much went from bad to worse. There were not a lot of highlights in this session. The fireballs, getting the fireball off was a real nice highlight, though. It pretty much annihilated that entire encounter with one spell, and that's always a fun power wizard moment. Other than that, we spent a lot of hit dice, really got our butts kicked by a lot of things. And about to get our butts kicked by some sort of undead. But thanks again for tuning in. This is always fun because I never know where it's going to go, even when it's frustrating and I roll very poorly like I did today. But that's it. If you like other content, check out the videos on the site. We also have the blog over on RedDragonTheme.com. You can check that if you want to see more of that sort of Dungeon Master, Game Master information. Go into a lot more depth than some of the stuff we do on the channel. So if you're really looking to cut your teeth and dive deep on DMing sort of things, we've been running that blog for a very long time. So it's got way more information than we've got here on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. You can check me out on Twitter, DriveThruRPG. We have some stuff in there. Pay what you want, download it, free resources, have fun. If you can throw us a few dollars there, or over on the coffee link, that's ko-fi.com/RedDragonTheme. That's always appreciated. Some of that stuff goes into the channel. I don't really make a lot of money on it. Not really the point of this channel, but it would give me the ability to go in and buy something like a little Wacom tablet or a little bamboo tablet or something to get some of these, give me some options to get some of the stuff on the screen that I'd like to do if we keep doing that. Share the videos out on Reddit or Ian World or your preferred forum of RPG stuff, or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You know all the socials. I don't need to tell you what social media is. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Bye.